Hi, everyone, and welcome to Between Friends. I'm excited to be here with you, and we have some fun stuff in store. I'm filling in for Eileen this week and next week, so you'll see me 2 weeks in a row. But as always, I'm excited to be here and share with you some of our dime products and fun projects as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. So tell me over there in the chat where you're watching from. We'll say hi to everyone joining and give you guys a little bit more time to hop on in case we have some late arrivals. So tell us over there where you're watching from. And today we are going to be doing something red, white, and beautiful. So it's getting that time of year, right? Okay, so I see already some familiar names. So happy Thursday from Wyoming, Retha Ranke. So thank you so much for being here. So my friend Eileen Reichard, thank you so much for joining from Maryland. So she said quick sounds good about now. Absolutely. So you're going to be really surprised at how super quick you can embellish things, make it personal. We'll talk about those, some fun little things today. So Judy Rhodes, thanks for joining from Pennsylvania. So good to see you here. Chris Kavanaugh sent it here. Susie. Send it here, Susie. So Susie, it is. Thanks for joining us today. And we have, I was just looking down through here. Marjorie Hirschberger, thank you for joining. So I recognize Marjorie's Hirschberger as well. Kim Myers, glad to have you here from Oklahoma. Our friend Dawn from Creative Appliques, thank you for being here. So Harriet Ann Palmer, thank you for being here. So she's in Fort Smith, Arkansas right now. So thanks for being here, Harriet Ann. Always lovely to see you. Patricia Hale, thanks for being here. Our friend Reen Wilcoxon from Embroidery Gardens. Can't wait to see the wonderful projects. So yes, I have several fun things. I had a hard time picking and narrowing it down. So you guys just have to ask questions if I don't go into enough details. So Jill, thanks for being here. She's in Washington State right now. Hey, Jill, glad you're here. Thanks for joining. And Becky Zinsley, thanks for being here from Milwaukee, Oregon. So good to see you. So hey, there's Joanne Banco from Let's Go Sew. Thanks, Joanne, for joining from Northeast Ohio. So good to see you as well. So good to see everybody here. And so hopefully you guys are already starting some of your stitching maybe for Memorial Day. And as you know, I feel like our Memorial Day decor can carry over to 4th of July as well. And so it certainly is nice to be able to reuse something. And I do love seeing the pops of color, changing your decor from now and again. And so thanks for being here, everybody. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. I love quick projects. Sometimes I'm in a big hurry and I need to get something done quickly. And a lot of times home dec comes quickly because I have something going on. I have a gathering, some friends coming over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I sew, I craft. I really should have a nice table runner or a table scarf or something, placemats. And so I'm always in a hurry and I think about it always last minute. So I created these cute little no-sew quilt blocks, and I'm going to show you how I did that today using HTV. But you guys know that HTV, you can actually use it with embroidery or without. So this is what I'm going to be using today to create these projects. I have several different ones that I'm sharing with you, and you don't need, anything special. I'm going to be using the HTV. So if you have some HTV or what I'm showing, you could certainly do fabric with fusible web also. But the Patriotic Shimmer and Shine kit is what I'll be using. This is a what we refer to as a vinyl applique kit because it comes with an applique embroidery design, that adorable little hot air balloon there, which certainly could be done in different colors if you don't want the red, silver, and the blue. And it comes with one 12 by 12 sheet of each of these colors of HTV in the package, the royal blue, the silver confetti, and the red. And it has two exquisite matching threads, so the red and the blue, and then the metallic thread that perfectly matches that silver confetti is the aluminum, metallic aluminum, which is a perfect match. So that is the kit that I'm going to be using today. And of course, in the kit, you get that free design that I'm going to be using as part of my demonstration here. So let me head over and show you what's in this kit because it is our special product today. And I'll show you some things that I've created. And we'll go off in a tangent and create a bunch of other things. So, so here under my camera, you can see that I stitched the hot air balloon. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is just as is. I didn't make any changes to the design. Actually, I think I did resize it just a smidge in our embroidery tool shed, which you certainly can do also. But I put it on this little, what I call a pillow plaque where I just stitch and I've got some buttonholes and I can just replace this with a different pillow plaque, whenever I want. And this is just a design that I created, this pillow plaque shape here where I added buttonholes in our software. And I can show you how I created that if you guys are interested. But I stitched the design, like I said, a little bit larger with the 3 different colors. And so let me show you what comes in this kit. And then I'll show you some things I did with it a little bit differently other than just the free design. So that is one. So our Shimmer and Shine kits come with the HTV and the thread that perfectly matches. So here I've got those 3 12 by 12 sheets here of the HTV. Okay. Now you guys probably have seen us use this in embroidery. So I'm going to be doing a combination of what embroidery, but also using this without embroidery because it is able to be used standalone. And so there's my cute little tube of thread there. I've got my matching colors to each one of these. And I have also my instructions. So, and the instructions here, they do tell you how to use the HTV in the instructions. So you'll get that all in your little kit there. So isn't that cool? Okay, so now I did something a little bit different. I'm going to set this aside for now and take a look at this. So here's another idea for your free design. So I created this cute little door hanger here. I stitched it on our foam that is our Sew Any Shape foam to give it structure. You can see as I hold this just by the end, it's not drooping because it's pretty rigid. I could have also probably used our poly patch twill, but I really wanted this puffy kind of look that I got from the foam. Look at that glitter. Oh my gosh, that is just super gorgeous, right? And then I put a little piece of burlap over top of it because I wanted this little edge and I want it to fray. So over time, I know it'll get more frayed. And then I just added a little piece of wire that I punched a hole with just my tool here and put the wire through it and then curled the ends of that with our scissor or our tools that we have in our jewelry making kit. So these round pliers are for making those perfect curls like in your wire. So that's what I used there. And so with this, my goal with this was to give you a project that you could do without having to edit the design. Okay. much. Okay. I resized this in our embroidery tool shed. It is, I think, 9 inches tall, but I stitched it exactly as an applique because I didn't want to make any edits that you guys might not be able to do depending on what software you have. So that's why I just punched the holes. Now, if you have software, you probably could put an eyelet there to put your ribbon or your wire through. You probably could have put an outline and put a backing on, but I really was just going for simple, quick. I didn't want to edit the design a lot. All I did was resize it. So that's something you can do. And here's what the back looks like. Everybody always wants to see the back, right? And so that is my stabilizer. And then the foam is under that. And then my burlap is under the foam. So here, I'll show you exactly what I did here. So I used a layer of our sew-any shape foam, and this stitched really well here, and it compresses where it stitches. So I've got these puffy areas that didn't have any stitch, which I actually love how it turned out. And then for my burlap, I did fuse on a piece of no-show fusible mesh, because burlap, especially this one that's the really open weave, you can get higher quality burlap that's a little tighter weave, but this one was not. And so the weave was really loose and it's moving around. So I fused on a piece of our no-show mesh stabilizer to just kind of hold that weave in all together. I layered those three, and then I stitched my design right through that. Now I stuck this to my sticky hoop because I had these extra layers. If you are using foam and a placement mark, you probably could use your Snap Hoop Monster for that as well. So, and then like I said, I just punched a hole here and used my pliers that came with my jewelry making kit to make that swirl there. But you certainly could just use like if you've got a marker or something, you could just wrap that wire around something round if you don't have those particular pliers to make that curl. So you could just curl that around there. And so that's how I made this cute little door hanger. And then my little pillow plaque here, I'm going to show you how I created that a little bit later, because we're going to fuse a different design on there. But isn't that cute? And you can see that it is bigger. It is resized. So if you have any dime software, or even if you just have our free embroidery toolshed, that's still an amazing program that you can bring in the C2S file and resize it as large as your heart desires or your hoop will allow, whichever you want. So that is one thing I did. But now with the HTV here, I created this adorable placemat. So look at that. Isn't that cute? So have any of you guys, tell me over there in the chat, have any of you guys created, this is called a 10-minute table runner. It is not my creation. The pattern is really easy, really simple. It's not quilted, no batting in here. It's just fabric and that's it. But for a 10-minute table runner, if you want something that looks like you've pieced this, that beautiful HTV cut out just in our shapes and fused on. That's all that is. And if I flip it over to the back, you can see that there's no, other than all of my threads, but there's nothing stitched through. So these ends where you tack it down here, and then the HTV is ironed on. So, and I'm going to show you how we can make these exact blocks and fuse them on. So there's a couple of different things that we can do, but using that HTV without embroidery, it's still legal. You don't have to use this HTV with embroidery like we were showing. You can use it either. That's one of the reasons why we love this, is because you're not just able to use it for embroidery purposes. You can use it for both. Now, here's a little placemat that I created. Look at that. So now my cute little border there resembles flying geese, but it's not the exact triangle that I needed for geese because I just did a quarter square and a half square triangle there. And then I used the HTV to just cut out a star shape and fuse that onto my matching napkins there. So What do you guys think? So have you guys used HTV without embroidery and also with embroidery? So tell me over in the chat, have you done one or the other or both? I'd love to hear from you over there. And so, and if you have any questions as we go along, I'm going to show you how I did all of this as well. So don't worry. It's definitely coming up on that. So Patricia says, love making the 10-minute table runner with my serger. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I love stitching with my serger as well and doing my piecing. So, and then Joanne Bako says, I've seen it a ton of times, but never made one. Joanne, you need to make one. It truly was quick and easy. And I'll show you the steps to it if you guys have not done it. It's really doesn't require much sewing. It's just one, two, three, four. Just 4 seams really is the minimal that you can do. And I did tack down the ends, which we'll talk about that as well. So, and Patricia Roberts says, I've made many, but not with HTV. So, well, hey, here's a new idea for you, Patricia, right? So, and then Ruth Ann Hanson says, yes, I've done the 10-minute table runner, AKA the fast table runner. It is. I have to confess though, it took me a little longer than 10 minutes, but still it was super quick and easy for sure. So, and then Retha says, I made the 10-minute table runner. For some reason, it takes me an hour. Oh my gosh. I didn't read that before I said that, but Retha, that's about how long it took me. But I also altered the pattern and I was really trying to figure out the size and everything to make, but it is really super easy. And she said she uses her serger too. Retha does for her 10-minute table runner. So let me go back over here. I'll show you how it's made. It's not my instructions. So if you just Google 10-minute table runner, you will get a PDF pattern. So you don't have to remember this, but I do want to just show you how easy it was. And then just from making this one, I have tons of ideas. Like I already have other things that I think I want to do. So let me show you here under the camera. So for one, here's one thought that I have. What if I cut this in half like this and put some loops at the top and make this a front door hanger, right? So I could sew that with my, just some, loops of either ribbon or fabric and hang that on a dowel rod. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to do that too. But I think that would be another really good one. So if you haven't ever done this, let me show you just quickly, basically what it takes. So you basically have 2 pieces of fabric. One is longer or wider than the other. And if you Google, all the dimensions are there, but you sew the 2 seams, so down one side and then line it up down the other. And then you've got this long tube here. And since one piece of fabric is wider than the other, when you turn it inside out, make sure you press your seams there. But when you turn it inside out, then it will look like this. You'll automatically have a border. Now, the measurements that you use, there's lots of different things that you could do, but the basics is a 10 or a 12-inch center and an 18-inch for your back fabric. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put those right sides together, just like that. And then you're going to sew a straight line here and on this end. And when you do that, I'm just going to turn this so it'll kind of hold it. And so then when you turn that inside out, you'll have that point there. And it's a finished edge. So your edges are unfinished or under here. And then I just stitched along this edge here. But wouldn't that be cute if it just was like a little hanging like that, like half the size? So isn't that cute? So it is really, really simple to do. And of course, you can make it longer, shorter. I think with the fabric is kind of the basics there. So, but let me show you what I did with my little pieces here. So now if you have a digital cutter, I've actually already cut this piece out here. And I'll show you this one. So when we cut on our digital cutter, we leave that carrier sheet on our HTV. So I'm trying to get this to where we can see it. But you can see that I've got that plastic still on there. When we use this with our embroidery machine, we take the carrier sheet off. So now you can see it's just the glitter. So when you cut on your digital cutter, you're going to still have that carrier sheet. And that's what I did for this one is I actually cut out my star shape and left that center square, and I just put it right under there. So then now this is one of my little pillow plaques here that I can just iron down. But before we do that, just to see a little bit more on the how this stitches out. So if you haven't ever used HTV with embroidery, take a look at this short little video here of using the shimmer and shine and stitching that cute little design there. So the first part of the design that stitches is the basket and the sky behind the basket. And then after that, you'll start the applique pieces. So if you haven't ever stitched with HTV, using it with an applique is really probably the easiest way to get started with it. Replace your fabric with the HTV, and you can see there that you stitch that and it literally just tears away. Isn't that cool? And then now we're going to do the other color. You can see really quickly, because this is going very fast, that I removed that carrier sheet before placing that down. The carrier sheet is for fusing it, and we're using it with our embroidery and not fusing it until later. So, and then it just tears away. Isn't that cool? So that's the free design that comes with the kit. But if you have applique designs, you could use HTV to replace the fabric. Just remove that clear carrier sheet off of the HTV. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that when we go back here under the camera. And then just rip that away. And then the last thing that stitches here are the stars. Now, I think that would be cute. You could leave those stars off and just have 3 different colors, some other color than red, white, and blue. So I really feel like this is a really fun, versatile design that you could use for a lot of different things. So super cute, right? What do you guys think? Isn't that adorable? So it's finishing those last few stars there, and that's stitching right through the HTV with regular embroidery thread. I use the silver metallic thread, the aluminum there for the silver. And I used the matching red and the matching blue there. So that's our special item that we're talking about today. So isn't that cool? Okay, so we'll come back to this here in just a second. So let me head back over to my camera again. And now that we've seen how to use it with embroidery, then let's talk about this, using it without embroidery. So here's a piece of my HTV, and you can see the carrier sheet still on there. So if you are using it for embroidery, make sure that you peel this carrier sheet off. It is slightly tacky, and so I'll actually show you how I used this to help me line up one of my designs. So we'll see that here in just a second. And I save all these scraps. So this was actually from my hot air balloon. I save these because I can cut these. I can use them in little small areas in my applique for this particular type of project. Okay, so we'll see more of that here in just a second. So now for my design here, I cut the red out on my digital cutter. Let me lift that up and show you. I cut it on my digital cutter. So then when you cut on your digital cutter, everything stays in the orientation that you cut it. So it's really super simple to just iron that on by lining it up. Now the carrier sheet acts as my pressing sheet. So all I need to do is bring my iron over, if I've got enough room here. Hang on one second. And so gotta love live, because then everything does not work as it is advertised. So here we go. And I'm just using my Cricut Easy Press, and I've got it set for the time and the temperature that Caesar recommends for ironing the HTV. And it'll just count down and fuse that on. You can use your regular iron. They do give you instructions for setting your regular iron too. I chose to use this today because since I'm showing you this under the camera, I could press once and then it be done, just like that. And then we wouldn't have to move our iron around. So, and then this is a warm peel, which means I can take my carrier sheet off right away. And you can see as I peel that up, now I have this a cute little pillow plaque, as I call it, to replace this one if I want. So maybe I don't want the hot air balloon, and I've got this cute little shape here too. I absolutely love ironing these quilt blocks. They come out way better than my pieced blocks. I'll have to say that. I'm not the best piecer. I want to go quick instead of being perfect. So, but now let's talk about cutting some of these out. Okay, so I've got my HTV here. And like I said, I save all of my scraps. Some of my scraps have the carrier sheet still on them, and some of them don't. And you will be able to tell, well, you can probably tell here under the camera, but look how shiny this is reflecting. That's the carrier sheet. And the ones that don't have the carrier sheet, you can just see that glitter. So I save all my little scraps. And then I can cut out whatever shape I want, or I can use it in my applique, even for small little parts there. So, okay, so for my my block that I did for that sawtooth star there, I just did a cut two of these into my quarter square triangles. So let me grab my ruler. And we'll cut a couple of these out. So now this already has the carrier sheet on it. And so all I'm going to do is just cut my pieces with my rotary cutter, just like that. And now I've got two. And if I leave them together, I can cut again for my 4. Now, if somebody is wondering how I knew what size, because, you know, quilting things do line up, I actually used my software. You don't have to do this. You could certainly just go by, you know, a pattern and remove your seam allowance from the recommended measurements. And so there are my 4 triangles. So if we're doing that sawtooth star, I'm going to be having my triangles like this. Sometimes I'm directionally challenged on my blocks. We're going to start like that, and then we're going to go around. Okay. Isn't that easy? I mean, could this be any easier? It's just like super simple. And so then here I would cut my other one and do that same exact thing. So let me pull that. And then we can position these and just iron them on. So I have another little tea towel we'll iron onto the bottom of that. So I'm just lining up here in the corner for my block. And just like that. Did you guys know that you could do HTV? Those of you that are using it in embroidery, did you already know that you could use this without embroidery? So here's my piece here and here. Oh my goodness. There we go, like that. So we're just building our star. Just like that. How cool is that, right? And so now what I did for my star is I just started with the center and I ironed that down, and then I can place these pieces outside of it. But here's one thing, because this is slightly adhesive, this is something that you can use, like a bigger piece here, to position your block as well. Okay, so here, let me show you how I did that. I'm going to bring over my board here, because look at these other blocks. How cute. Look at all this. So you certainly could make pretty much any quilt block that you wanted to, even the complicated ones, you know, if you want to cut out all those pieces. And if you have a digital cutter, you can cut out the quilt blocks on your digital cutter. But I thought this churn dash was cute. What if you cut out a little heart there and put in the center of that the turnstile block, which to me for patriotic looks like a windmill. It reminds me of summer. But even doing like your borders, like things like this. So Now, if you have a carrier sheet, because when you iron these on, normally if I'm using with the carrier sheet, I would press one part. So I would like press this first so it stays into place. And then I would line up two pieces and then I would press that. And actually for this type of pressing, you would get away really easy with a small iron like this because you're going to just press to iron down part of these and each time repositioning them, because I didn't want to put them all into place and they accidentally shift. So then I just ironed them down, part by part. If you don't want to iron them down in pieces, so you could do something like this. And so let me move this again out of the way. And so on my pieces that do not have the carrier sheet, this actually works really well, but you could still do it with this. But if you started with this piece here and just put it like, use the cutting mat to place this like in this, let me get that kind of centered here. So place that square. Whoops, I'm going to do that the wrong way. Look at me. I'm going to mess this up if it's the last thing I do. And then now when I place my pieces down, like this is so backwards, I can use the marks on my cutting mat to make sure that I'm lined up. So if I get that point right there, making sure I'm straight, I can use this carrier sheet to help hold everything into position. So just like that. And so by using the lines on my cutting mat, I'm getting my block straight and it's going to hold it all together. And this material is heat safe, so I can continue building my star and we can then fuse that into place. So I'm going to put this at a point here just to kind of get it lined up and then do that. Whoop, I did it wrong again. I just can't be taught. Look at that. Just like that. Let me move it back here. And then we're going to press this onto a little tea towel. So just like this. And each one of these still have the carrier sheet on them. So we would have to take that off at the end, which is perfectly fine. This piece of carrier sheet is only holding my pieces together. It is a heat safe material. And so it's perfectly fine to press it. Okay. And I'm going to move that over so I can line these up here. And one more. It's like a puzzle, right? Just like that. How about that? What did I mess up? Oh, it looks pretty good, right? Okay, so let me grab my mat again. So this is my hoop and press pad. That is fantastic for pressing small projects like this. So I've got this towel that I have this anchor on one side, but I do really love putting a design on both sides of a towel because then you can show it both sides. So I'm going to put this down. And then I've already ironed a crease here and here so that I can get my star lined up. And so I'm just going to put that into position just like that. And I see one piece right here I'm not happy with. So I'm going to just adjust that slightly before I make a final press. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay. And so now because I have the carrier sheet still on here, I don't need a pressing sheet, but if you do not have the carrier sheet, look at this. If you do not have the carrier sheet on here, you can still use this, but use a pressing sheet. So let's press this one. So I'm going to start my timer again. And while that is counting down, let's see what you guys are saying. So the Jennifer Alexander, thanks for being here. She is a frequent flyer, so good to see you. So she said, we call that angly challenge. I am too. Right. And so it just especially when you're on camera, you're trying to think about a ton of different things, and so it's hard to do so many different things at one time. But here, I just peeled that one off. That was our first one. Now here's the caveat to cutting it with the carrier sheet on there. I have to go and I peel each of those off. But it depends on, you know, what you are doing. If you don't mind peeling these off individually, it's perfectly fine. But you could have gone ahead and peeled it all off and then put the pieces on the carrier sheet. Or again, you don't have to use the carrier sheet. That's just was my trick to holding my pieces together, because they want to squirm around when you put a pressing sheet over there. But look how cute. Isn't that awesome? Super easy to accomplish, right? And so what do you guys think? So cute little HTV blocks, no piecing and no sewing required, just ironing. So so let's see here. Anne Philbeck, thanks for being here. So she said, I'd use the clear carrier sheet or mine would be way off. Yes. I totally agree. And when you try to cover with the carrier sheet or with a pressing sheet, stuff tends to want to move. Another thing you could do is heat safe tape. If you have any heat safe tape for like sublimation, you certainly could do that too. Dawn from Creative Advocate, perfect points on those blocks. Absolutely better than I ever could have sewn it. That's for sure. So have never thought about using the carrier sheet to position quilt blocks. So I'm glad, Sybil, that I could share something new with you. So really fun and easy project. So, okay. So before we leave here, let me show you how I created this, and then we can talk about resizing the cute little design that comes with the free set. So I'm going to head over to my software. You guys know that I am a software fanatic, so I always love to show you a little tidbit in software. So this is what I do. I have this little thing that I call a pillow plaque. My name, not anything that you could probably look up, but it's just a rectangle that a lot of times I'll put an embroidery design on here. So like the free little design from your Shimmer and Shine, and I can resize that. And when I resize, I can see up here at the top that my software does recalculate the stitches. So that number's going up as I resize, and then I can make sure that that is center. So for the actual design, all I did was create a square. So I used our drawing tools. I draw a rectangle, and then here's a tip. If you click and hold your control key, you will get a perfect square. So you can see how I can make a rectangle or a square, but if I click and hold my control key, it'll be a perfect square. So I'm going to take those last two away. This one, for my pillow plaque, it was 7.5 millimeters, and or not millimeters, sorry, that would be small, 7.5 inches. And then I'm going to zoom out so we're back in the frame. And then I used over here in my effects panel, I just turned that into a run stitch, and I made it be a triple. So I just changed that in my properties and then click apply. And now that's a triple stitch. Now you can create that artwork shape into a run stitch in a lot of dime software. But here's the one thing that I used from Perfect Embroidery Pro that we currently don't have in any other software, and that is buttonholes. We have built-in buttonholes. When you select it, you just click on your workspace and it would add a buttonhole. And then I resized those to match my button size. And then I also lined them up with my alignment tools, just like that. So make sure these are aligned horizontally, and then these vertically, just like that. Easy peasy, right? And that is, and then I'll merge a design in there depending on if I'm just stitching it, or like this one, I actually just stitched a blank one and we ironed on our quilt block there to switch that out on my pillow. So, and it's really that simple. And even our free embroidery tool shed will resize. So you can resize in any dime software, even the free one. The buttonholes are from my Perfect Embroidery Pro. So that's what I had to use from Perfect Embroidery Pro, but lots of dime software will draw a artwork shape and allow you to convert it to a run stitch. And so that's all I did there. So isn't that super easy? And then again, for the door hanger, I didn't change this design at all. I just simply stitched it as an applique, but I did stitch it on top of our foam, our sew-any shaped foam. And then I just punched a hole for the wire. Now, you could certainly take this to the next level if you have software to turn that into a bit more of an in the hoop design. So isn't that cool? So our Shimmer and Shine set, that's a mouthful. Make sure that you get that. It is our special product for today. Again, it includes those 3 sheets of the HTV, the red, silver, and the blue that I was using in all my projects today. And it comes with 1 spool of Kingstar metallic thread, which anybody that knows our metallic knows that it is a phenomenal metallic thread. It doesn't break and kink like other brands of metallic. It also includes 2 spools of our exquisite polyester embroidery thread, a red and a blue to match your HTV, and that cute little free design. And if you spend over 75, you'll enter that code 75 ships free, and you'll get free shipping to any US address. So make sure that you check that out. So what do you guys think? Isn't that cool? So I can't wait to see you guys on our Facebook group, or either hashtag Dime Sew Along. Make sure you're showing us what you're stitching with any Dime product, not just with the HTV. So and then Retha says, I love putting buttonholes and changing out the design for the season. I totally love this. This is like my new obsession, Retha. I don't know why I haven't started doing it sooner as well. So, and then Jennifer says, yes, you could also use plastic snaps. No buttonholes needed. That is so true. And that would be super cute. You could get some cute little decorative snaps. That would be awesome to see. Thank you, Cassandra Swan. I hope that you are inspired to go and make some fun stuff. I agree, Jennifer. Kingstar really is the best. So Jennifer and Retha both said that almost simultaneously there. And I totally agree. If you haven't used Dime's Kingstar, make sure that you take advantage of any of our special pricing. Order some Kingstar, even if you just got 1 spool, like in this kit. If you just had this kit with that 1 spool to give it a try, it is you'll be thoroughly impressed. You will never go back, I promise. So so that is our special for today. So, and speaking of another great special, you guys know that every single week we have a new design that is free for everyone to download, and it's called our On the House design because, well, it's on the house. So that free project or design, every once a month, it is a project, is available at our dzgns.com. If you just search free, it'll bring you up the page. It's also under the drop down menu, and it's listed under the designs as free designs. So you can go and download all the ones that we've had this year. And when you do download and stitch it, please share your project with us on social media by using the hashtag Dime Sew Along, On the House, or Exquisite Thread. Hashtag in front of any of those words will allow us to search and find your project, and then show everybody what you've been making. And in fact, let's take a look at this video of what you guys have been making with your On the House designs. Some awesome creations, and I can't wait to see what you guys create with this On the House design, this beautiful hydrangea bouquet. with this cute butterfly and this adorable watering can. Now, the watering can is also HTV. We used Aurora HTV. That is part of our Prism Play kits that we have, but it has an iridescent look, so it was perfect for that watering can. But it is an applique, so you certainly could use fabric there as well. But isn't that adorable? We always give you all the colors that we use because if you want to duplicate those results, those colors are also in the list when you download the design. So it'll give you the exact colors that we use from our exquisite collection. So isn't that cute? So I saw a couple of questions here, or a comment and a question that I'll just share before we sign off. And then Barbara Newman says, love all the quilting, embroidery, and applique tips. Oh, you're very welcome. So this was such a fun project for me. All of these were, I really couldn't stop. I wanted to iron these blocks onto everything that my iron would not burn. So, and then Caroline Booth. Hey, Caroline, good to see you here. She said, what did I use for my pillow panel? My pillow plaque is a linen blend fabric because I wanted the edges to really fray and I wanted it to be a little bit sturdier than just a regular quilting cotton. And so, and Caroline says she likes to use painter's drop cloth. That's a great idea. And that would be quite sturdy as well. But yeah, I love the frayed edges. So it's a linen blend fabric. I want to say Essex from Robert Kaufman, but don't quote me on that. But I think that's what it is, Caroline. So I'm glad you like that. Thank you so much. And that means a lot coming from Caroline because she makes some beautiful samples, let me tell you. Okay, guys, so don't forget to get your download your on the house design. And next week, I will be back again. I am here again for Eileen. And then also, if you do join my software success on the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday, that is next Tuesday as well. So you'll see me twice next week, whether you want to or not, if you join both of those live presentations. So software success is on Tuesday. Next week, we talk all things software. I'm doing the second part of Edge to Edge. And then next week on Between Friends on Thursday. So you'll see me twice next week. So make sure you join me. So, okay, guys, that's all I have for today. I wanted to say thank you so much for being here. It's always fun to share my love of embroidery and crafting with all of you. And so until I see you next time on Software Success or Between Friends, I'll say bye for now and we'll see you next time.